You get the YouTube voice. Tribal seed in your eyes. Okay. Yeah. There's a stream break right here, and then I'll cut it in. Alright, welcome to Philosophy Roulette number 194, where we read and review philosophy papers. You can join us live as in the chat and discuss what's going on in contemporary philosophy. So let's see what's on the hot sheets for today. Acta Analytica, the aporia of future directed beliefs. Alright, let's take a look at that one. AI in society, should student algorithmic bias, should students pay the price? We've got AI ethics, and analysis, and I read this one yesterday. No, I read a different one yesterday from analysis, so maybe I'll take a look at that if they're putting stuff out. So let's see if these things are available. Dagnabbit, I can't read your paper if you do not upload the paper. Let's see what happens if I click here. Okay, the aporia of future directed beliefs is available. That's cool. Let's take a look. What about this one? This one is also here. We can take a look at this one. That is kind of exciting. And let's look at the analysis paper. Let's click on this one. Is it here? And it's here. Alright, so we get gonna have a choice of what to read. 19 pages of analysis. Okay, double space. That's fine. So I will ask chat. I mean, there's a few of you there. If you have put a 1, 2, or 3. This is number 3, an argument against causal decision theory. The other one, number 2, is algorithmic bias. Should students pay the price? And curmudgeon corner. So this is an editorial. I don't know if I want to read that because I mean editorials would just be something else. Okay, but I didn't know they had a curmudgeon corner. That's kind of hilarious. All right, so my vote is on vote 2 just because it's curmudgeon corner. And then we've got the aporia of future directed beliefs in Acta Analytica. So this paper discusses a new aporia, the aporia of future directed beliefs. This aporia contains 3 propositions. It's possible that there is someone who is infallible. All right, you know what? Probably let's go do that one from AI and society, because it's just sort of hilarious with the title, and then we can come back to the other ones later if we so choose. And we also got the nice analysis paper. I always like analysis papers because they're usually well done, and then they're also short. So we're gonna do this one, and then if you guys don't have any other objections, we'll do the other stuff. So this is AI in Society by Algorithmic Bias. So we're talking about contemporary ethical issues by Helen Smith in AI and Society. Nope, too many windows. Okay, there we go. So, algorithmic bias, should student pay the price? If you want this paper, oopsie. The link is now in the chat, and if you ever join me live, you can also recover the chat, the link by typing !paper in the chat box. Okay, though, now we're reading curmudgeon corner. So, short paper. Algorithmic bias, should students pay the price by Helen Smith. Thanks to the COVID-19 pandemic, rather than the usual exams, A-level students in the United Kingdom face the novel process of being awarded grades generated by a calculation determined by an algorithm. Oh, I heard about this. Wow, this was such a cock-up on their part. As administered by the Office of Qualifications and Examinations Regulation. One need only to explore the hashtag A-levels via Twitter, that's where I saw it, to find cases of students who have been tremendously downgraded by this process. In one incident from predicted A grade to a U. I don't know what that even means, but I'm sure it's terrible. The grades awarded understandably generated uproar and resulted in the destabilization of many members of this year's student cohort who depended on their results to move on with their lives to further education, training, or employment. Yeah, one of the people, and for all I know it is Taffy, the person I'm talking about, she had actually written a short science fiction story which won some sort of like prestigious award, in which your future was predicted by this exact sort of things. They had an algorithm that took a bunch of factors and then predicted your future success, and so they gave you different grades based on how the algorithm viewed your grades, not the teachers, and how you actually scored on exams. And she went from the top level and dropped her down, and she was going to get kicked out of the school she had been accepted to for college on the basis of her new downgraded grades. It's like she's an award-winning author in high school, and now she's getting crap grades. So it's sort of amazing, and she had written a story on this exact thing. Okay. Continuing, the entire fiasco has been due to the application of an algorithm that goes against the UK's government's very own recently drafted guidelines. The Office of Artificial Intelligence Guidance on Use of AI in the public sector stipulates that there must be a process for monitoring unexpected or biased outputs. Ofqual stated that they performed an equalities analysis of calculated grades upon their model, which determined this year's grades. They claim their analysis showed no evidence that this year's process of awarding grades has introduced bias. However, this was not found to be the case. The distribution of downgrading had been noted to favor students attending private independent schools, while students from disadvantaged backgrounds had been hit the hardest. Ultimately, the algorithm used to restore the grading balance determined students' final grades was both inconsistent and unfair. Yeah, that's what happened. This person who had won all these awards for her writing, she was in a, not that great school. And so she, of course, had the top grade. She had top grades, but, she was just not from a great background. And they somehow looked at her background and decided she didn't deserve the grades she had gotten. It's amazing. Okay. Public pressure resulted in the first U-turn by the Scottish government, whereby grades would be reissued and based solely on teacher judgment. Had it not been for peer pressure applied to the devolved governments to follow suit, the UK government might not have decided to finally abandon the contested algorithmically issued grades. Without this change of heart, many students' futures would have been sacrificed in the name of maintaining a standard which had not even been uniformly applied across the UK's four nations, England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. And I mean, this is the problem with all these things. No matter what you're doing with the algorithm, you had to set it up a certain way, and you have to give it some sort of first run information. No matter what, there's going to be some information that it's getting first, and there's going to be some way that you set it up. And whatever that initial information is that you're giving it, it's going to be biased just by the fact that you gave it first. That's going to set the bar from which it'll have to adjust. And of course, you can try to unfactor it out, but it's much easier said than done. And that's probably exactly what they did here. They said, "Oh, we're going to give it some information, we'll do stuff," and it turned out just to favor all the rich kids and harm all the poor kids. But did they really put enough time into this? Obviously not. But that's always what happens. You're inheriting the biases of old into your algorithms, and this happens a lot actually. Okay, continuing. Every nation has their education system impacted by the pandemic. There has been no globally coordinated response for managing exam results to ensure fairness worldwide. Yet, whilst the UK government concerned itself with the devaluation of grades, some other nations simply accepted an overall jump in grades. For example, France utilized results available from exams taken earlier in the students' courses. They enjoyed record pass rates and the subsequent provision of thousands of extra university places. Interesting. So they took, imagine you were getting back when you were years earlier and everyone passed the test. They were using one of those results. Whilst we all hope the pandemic's disruption will confine itself to 2020, not looking likely at the moment, challenges may persist without a vaccine widely deployed before the next examination period. If biased algorithms had been deemed acceptable this year, then that precedent risked their continued use in subsequent years. This would have perpetuated a year-on-year growing divide between private independent schools and those from disadvantaged backgrounds, possibly leaving thousands of young adults behind for no good reason. A bad algorithm applied universally is awful enough, but a bad algorithm applied inconsistently is horrendously unfair to those it affects and sets a poor example to other countries and organizations looking to manage their examination system under similar conditions. The UK government has only relatively recently begun to truly consider how algorithms are used and the implications of that use. There will certainly be room, too many B's in the sense, for improvement in algorithmic practices for some time to come. All right, yeah, just on this sort of thing. There has been a concerted attempt by the big tech companies to say that algorithms are somehow safe. This has been a media push on them because it is in their favor to say that they are not biased. The media companies want to act independently. And if anyone has been looking at the media recently and like politics and everything, that's not the case. It just isn't. It's patently false. Certain sorts of programs and systems help certain groups more than others. So, what is to be done with it and how do we understand it? I don't know, but the idea that it's somehow innocent, or just the naive sense that algorithms are innocent, is just false, and it was a marketing push. I mean, it was by Google, frankly, and other companies. But Google did this. Like, that was their marketing push because they knew that if they presented themselves as not a biased thing, they were just presenting the information, that was a very good marketing strategy for them. Now, you don't have to buy that, but like, you have to understand that was their marketing strategy. Okay, the AI community is well placed to pass comment on the construction and use of algorithms. We have a responsibility to use our experience to predict problems where possible and to speak out against negative issues when experienced by affected stakeholders. Yeah, absolutely. So basically, I actually read a book on this. It was called Algorithms of Oppression, and it was how basically you can, by displaying certain results or affecting algorithms in small ways, you basically propagate certain biases or you counteract them. And so if you search for certain things online, you will be getting a classification system of how things are understood. Now online you get like search results, and how that's ordered, well, like what gets pushed to the second page, because people don't really go past the second page anymore, the first page anymore. They just look what's on the, they don't go past the first or the second. So if your results somehow get downgraded by the algorithm, you disappear from the internet basically, and that will perpetuate whatever discrepancy there was that used to be in the past, because a lot of people who had money in the past now have a boosted search ranking because they've been around for so long. So basically, because you were there first and you had the money to begin with, means you are not getting that people who are already disadvantaged will be continued to be disadvantaged because of how the algorithm is set up. People who have a longer internet history will have more reputation on the internet and therefore will show up higher in the ranking, and you will be on page 2 and you will never get your business will never get money and you will never be found. And so there's the same thing here, that the algorithm turned out to favor the previously rich kids and discounted everyone else's grades, and thankfully, but only because of the media backlash did they get called out. Okay, if anyone has any questions on it, this is just a short opinion piece. But yeah, this is an important thing, and I like that AI in society has this little curmudgeon corner. Let me go read what this says. Curmudgeon Corner is a short opinionated column on trends in technology, arts, science, and society, commenting on issues of concern to the research community and wider society. Whilst the drive for superhuman intelligence promotes potential benefit to wider society, it also raises deep concerns of existential risk, thereby highlighting the need for an ongoing conversation between technology and society. At the core of curmudgeon concern is the question. Corner, not concern. What is it to be human in the age of the AI machine? And I'm happy that they put this out there. Yeah, so that's cool. And if anyone has any questions, please let me know, or else I'll that'll be it for now. I mean, I'm going to go do another paper right after this, but this is just a fun little curmudgeon-y rant about how silly, how over-reliant the UK government was, and how willing they were to just jump on the sort of bandwagon with, oh, we'll get some AI to fix the problem, which is not a good strategy, because that doesn't fix anything. Okay, alright. Thanks for watching, and I will be back very shortly. Okay, there we go. And